Here we're going to look at the walk cycle assessment, what you need to do for it. So this is the instructions. I'm not going to read through all these right now, but they are here. The video tutorials that show how to set up the pan, set up the background in the pan. Those are linked to here. We talked about it in class. So you can go here. So you're going to need to submit the walk cycle 3 different ways. First way, walk 1, compose one animation with the character walking in place with no background. So we'll look at that. Come into my After Effects. Now I have these 2 characters here, but if I want the character walking in place with no background, I'll go Composition, New Composition. This is after I set this all up. So this is LP6 _ Tom Ward _ walk cycle. And this will be 01. The 01 would be walking in place. Oh, don't need this. I need it to be underscore. So I have that 720x480. That's okay. That's the size that we're doing for our finish size. And I want to set it for 5 seconds. So I want it to be walking in place 5 seconds. Another thing I want to set, because when I brought my walk cycle in, I'll re-look at that again. But when I brought it in, I did the interpret footage main and I set the frame rate to 12 frames per second. So I'll come back here and set this to 12 frames. And I'll put it on a white background. A white background just looks cool. See the character on white. Black kind of gets lost. So you can do either one, but I think the white's good. I'm going to go there for now. Say okay. Say okay here. So now I have this white background. Now I'm going to look for the Isaiah walk cycle. That's him. And now he is facing walking, that he would be walking from right to left. I could flip him, but I will do. I'm bringing it in. So I'm going to bring this here. And now he's extra large. I want to fit him into the screen. So I'm going to check this and made it to fit, which it is. So now to scale this, I'm going to hit S for scale. Come over to the 100s here. Hover over that. I'm getting a finger, which is a little harder to see, but you have 2 arrows pointing left and right, east and west on the fingers. So I'll take over and either one of these, because right now they are linked. There's a chain that shows that they're constrained. So if I move one, the other moves with it. So if I bring it down, say I go about that size, which is good. And if I want to flip it to keep it consistent with everything else I've done with them, to flip it, what I did is then I unlocked the chain momentarily. So I clicked it and that chain is off. And on my x-axis, I type in, instead of 59, I'm gonna do 60, just to give a round number. I'll go -60 here, and then I'll do this at 60 here, then it's even. And then I can lock the chain, so if I did want to scale it up and down, now it's going to stay consistent. This side, the x-axis, is negative, so that's a way you can flip something horizontally in After Effects. Now to position it, if I want to get that rule of third thing going on, so I hit P for position, I can slide them back. And I know I might be going this fast, but these are all the different things you think about as you're setting it up. So if I hit my space bar, that plays, it's walking through, and now it's walking through in place. So this would be the walk cycle 1 that you would need to submit. Just a character walking in place. Walk cycle 2, I'm not going to go through the whole setup, but the walk cycle 2 would be this one. And I'll turn off this character for right now. So that's the BMX kid. That are these 2. And then if I have this character, so this would be LP6 _ Tom Ward _ walk cycle 02. So the 02 walk cycle that you need to submit is the camera's following the kid as he walks through the scene. So our panning walk cycle, the background's moving. There's a whole videos on how to set this up. I'm not going to show you that now, but just saying this is what you would submit as number 2. So I'll stop that. Now, number 3, we want our background to stay still, and we want the kid to walk through the background. So to do that, I'm going to look at the name of this composition, and this composition is Isaiah walk cycle 720 540 2022. So I look up here for the composition for that. And that was Isaiah Walk Cycle 7/20/2022 is this. So this is the composition that we're looking at here. So I want to duplicate that composition. So to duplicate it, on the Windows, I would do Control D. On the Mac, it's Command D. So Control D or Command D. So I'll do that. And it duplicated it. And it made one, was 2. And so it added, because it saw that 2 there, it added a 3 to it. If I want to change it to what I need to submit it as, I could do that here also. So to rename something in After Effects, you're going to hit your Enter or your Return key on your keyboard. So enter a return, and that made this all blue so I can write. So then I would write LP6 underscore Tom Ward underscore walk cycle. And this is going to be, put a capital C there. We call that camel typing when you don't have spaces, but you have capital letters that separate it as a new word starts. Camel typing. I'm going to put walk cycle 03. So 03 is the character walking through the scene as the scene says so. So I did that. So right now that's not showing up here. So I need to double click. I just made that. So it's LP6 Tom Ward 03. So if I double click it, now it's showing here. So that's this. It's the exact same composition as the walk cycle pan right now because I just renamed it. So I was walking the pan. So I want to pick a spot in here where the camera's about here in the middle. So I'm going to say about here. That's where I'm going to want that. So what I'm going to do is take this keyframe and delete it. So I am on the camera layer. So I'm the camera layer. Let me close up these other layers so no confusing. I am working on the camera layer. And I have 2 keyframes where the camera starts here and follows the kid as it walks from here. And the background's panning, the camera's following the kid as he comes through the scene. But now I want the camera to stay still and the kid's going to walk through the scene. So I'll pick about the middle here. No trees obstructing him. The kid's just going to walk. I'm going to set it up so the kid walks from left to right through the scene. To do this, I'm going to select this end keyframe on the right side, the last keyframe, and hit delete to delete it. Now the kid's moved way over there. But I need to bring him from off screen. So what I need to do is move and then I want him to go off screen that way. So I'm about here. So I want to move my camera. So let's get him so he's here. I'll do it at the start. And I want to move my camera over so he comes in from off screen as opposed to starting almost center screen or rule of thirds part of the screen there. To do that, in my camera layer, I have the position properties visible. If they're not visible, well, they'll be visible because we just deleted that one keyframe. So they will be visible. And I'm going to go to my x-axis. So I have the x, y, and z, these 3 sets of numbers. The x is on the left here, and that moves it side to side. So I'm going to take that, get the little finger icon with the 2 arrows pointing east and west, and I'm going to scrub that so the kid's off screen. And then if that tree was in the way, I can always turn that tree off. But as I bring them off, the kid's off screen. So the kid's about here. It's not visible to me. And then I want to make sure that it goes all the way off screen that way. And he does. So that's what we did. We stopped the camera. We have 1 frame on the camera. The camera's no longer moving, but the kid is still moving because we set him up in our pan shot. We set the kid up to be moving. So as I do this, so it wasn't a lot of work. It duplicated the pan scene, took out the keyframe for the camera moving, adjusted the camera so it's here, picked a spot in my scene where I want the kid to walk through, and he walks in and off screen. So that's what you'll be submitting as video number 3. It's looping, going back and forth, but he goes right through. So it's just a different way of doing it, kind of getting the feet to look like they're planted. They're looking pretty good. And then that's what we're going for. So you're going to submit the 3 files. You're going to submit one. So let's rename this one. So that's the pan one. So that is this. So what I'm going to do is hit enter return so I can rename it. I have the other one pasted there, yeah. So it's walk cycle 2. Walk cycle 2 is the pan. So I have 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to submit 1, which is this one, where he's just walking in place on the scene. No background, just so we can study how the walk movement looks. And this needs to be 5 seconds long. So this is 1. So with that, what I'll do is do file, export, add media encoder. It's going to take a second for that to open up. And I'll do that. So then I'm going to export 2 and 3 also. But I'll go through this process and put this on video so you have it. But it's not a lot of extra work. The work is setting up the pan. That does take some time to build the background, to get the pan to look proper. You know, he's walking in the back. We're getting that parallax pan. The different foreground and background elements are moving at those different speeds because we move them back in space. So I'm just waiting for this to come up. So for this, match source, high bit rate. That'll work. We can do medium bit rate. Just make our file size a little smaller to upload. So if I click that, it's going to open up. I clicked on where it says match source, high bit rate. It's opening up the other part of the media encoder, which is what we normally see like when we come out of Premiere. Kind of looks this interface. So right now, 6 megabytes. That's still a small file. Okay, so I'm glad I did this because it is going to show up on black because the kid does have an alpha channel. So it's coming through on black. So I'm going to do match source medium bit rate. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm just hitting cancel. Sorry about that. Okay, so I saw that. I'm going to take this out. I don't want this here. I select it and we'll just go back to our project, our After Effects project, and do a quick fix there. Negative. Now, if you did it on black, that's all right. You know, this takes all of 1 minute to do it. So right now it's on white, but because it's an alpha channel, After Effects is not recognizing that background. And I gotta look in to see how it's doing that as that. But to fix it, it's a quick fix. What I would do is go to Layer, New Solid, and I'm going to make a new solid, make comp size, white solid. If it's not white, I click here, take it up here and make it white, and then say OK. Now the solid covers the kid, so flip the order, take the white solid and place that underneath the kid's layer. You can roll up the position, so I just have the two of them there. So the kid in the white solid. Now I can go to File, Export, add to Adobe Media Encoder, Q, and it came back up, and I could switch there. High bit rate, I can just take it to medium bit rate here. And what that's going to do is just lose a little quality, but not too much, and make our file size just a little bit smaller. So I have that. Now I'm not going to hit play right away. I'm going to build a queue, get all 3 of them in here, and then I'll hit play. So I'll come back to my After Effects here, and then I'm going to go to Walk Cycle 2, which is my pan. And I don't have to worry about putting white behind this because the background is there. It's all in there. So just do a File, Export. Export to Media Encoder, Q, and match source medium bit rate. So I have Walk Cycle 1, Walk Cycle 2. Where are these? They're going to make a folder, an AME folder, so just to see where they're being saved. If I look at this, I click on that. I click down here on over here to output file. And it tells me it's going to Isaiah walks like a Preston Blair, sample walks. Okay, so I want to set where I want to save it, and I've set the both of them, and then they'll be set. So where I'm going to save it on my computer is in my animation class, and in my walk cycle. And I'll make a new folder, and I'll call it LP6 _ Tom Ward _ walk cycle. Walk cycles, and I'm going to put 2020. You don't need to do that just for me. So it's all my walk cycles. I'm going to put them in this folder. So I'm going to save one there. Come back and check this one. And just make sure that's going to the same spot. Just direct it there. Animation 1. My walk cycles. There's the folder I just made. Make sure I'm going to save it in that folder. The other one's not visible because it hasn't been made or created yet. But I directed it to this folder. So I have those two. And then I go back and get our third one. Come back to After Effects. And I have 1, 2, and 3. And you know, when you're working in After Effects, I could always take 2 and slide it over. So now I have 1, 2, and 3. Doesn't matter. It's just something that works visually for me. So I hit 3 and I can double check it. And that's the kid coming from off screen, walking through the screen. Background still. I don't need to add any white or anything to this one. It was just that first one we did that. So export, add to media encoder. So that's here. And I just want to make sure this is going to the right spot also. So I'll come to here, MPTC, where I have it. You just need to direct it to know where you're saving it on your computer. And I'm going to save it here. Again, nothing's in there, but I'm directing everything to that. So I'm going to have 1, 2, and 3 there. So now what I do is, now I hit the play button. So this is what they call a queue, is a lineup of things. So they're all here ready to go. And it'll just render them off one at a time. So I'll let this go, and then we'll trim this in when I do it. But they're pretty quick. That's 1, and it's the pan shot. This is number 2. You can see it finishing up here. Okay, so number 3 just finishing up here. And yep, all done. So all 3, the check mark shows all 3 are rendered. And I'll come back to that folder where I had them. So I come here, and then I need to go to here, and then animation 1, walk cycle folder, and inside there I made this folder. Where Tom Ward, walk cycles, LP6, your name, walk cycles, and 2020 I put in there. But I open it up, I have the 3 of them there. I'll just test them real quick. So I have him walking in place for the 5 seconds. Now this is just timed out. This is 2. All right, I did something on this one. Oh yeah, no, this is right. He didn't come from off screen. This is all right. I had to double check that for a second. And that's 5 seconds also, the pan. 8 seconds might be better, but I did say only 5 seconds. Good to see it a little longer. But I did the 5 seconds him walking through. So that's a 5-second pan. And I might have increased that size at one point to the 1280 size. If it's still the 720, well, that's good. I think I did increase it when I was messing around with this. What is the window size of this? I kind of played around with the size when I was there. Movie Inspector. This is in QuickTime, and I made this 1280 by 650. All right, so that's not even a common size. So yours are. If you made it the same size, the pan, which we said was 720 by 454, something like that. So it just comes through. Right, there it is. So that's the 3 of them. They all worked. They came through. They're okay. So I have them there. Come back up here. Then I'll compress this folder. And this is what I will submit. The 3 files and that compressed zip file. And how big is that? Only 4.4 megabytes. So that's pretty small. How big are these files? 1.2, 1.8, and 2 megabytes. So yeah, they're all very small files. 1, 2, and 3. I have it in order made. By name. Okay, so that's there. Any questions, let me know. But this is what you would submit, that zip file with the 3 of them inside of that folder with your name on everything.